Man, where you've got too many. I mean, if we talk about all of your songs and how they're made, we'll be here for 15 hours, for 15 days, not even hours. So, okay, let's move on now into Noize 2, because that again was even bigger than the first, even though it was like how. And it's not easy for people to have a second bigger album. You get Kenyan boy, Kenyan girl, and a few Jew. Tell us about the process of now.
Okay, for
the continuation or just continue the story.
Now, shortly after the release of first Noize album, Nas and Bamzigi had to travel for further studies. They had to go to Malaysia. I backed it. I continued. I continued with my now. By that time now, I was hired full time as a producer at Audio Vault, and we continued. I think later on now, David maybe parted ways with Ted, and also Mike had moved on, and so we later on formed Blue Zebra.
Yes,
that's how Blue Zebra came on, and I was a co-director in Blue Zebra. We were 3 guys.
Oh, serious?
Yeah.
Who are the 3 guys?
There was Tejusa, myself, and there was
Bruno?
Moses, no.
Bao.
The guy called Sam Bao.
Okay.
So that's how we formed Blue Zebra. And after a couple of months, I think maybe like a year or so, in fact, that's when I started really producing for a lot of other artists. I produced for Abby, Cheng. I remember at some point recording Eric Wainaina, produced for Red Sun, Prezo.
I mean, Wyre, the producer,
Tequila,
done his work. Yeah,
yeah,
a lot of guys don't know you as a producer.
I did a lot of radio commercials. So many video commercials that I produced back then, and I remember doing also quite a number of voiceovers that you can't tell it's me.
Yeah.
Actually, you need what voice? What accent? Okay, yeah. I got you, man. I got you. Yeah, so it was very interesting. I learned. I'm really glad I got into the production side of things, because it really opened my eyes as an artist. It put me in a position where I could be able to package an artist for the market, for this market. And I was in a much better position to advise artists on what direction to take on music. So there was many there's many jingles that were produced out there that I had a hand in, man. But big up Ted. I learned so much from Ted. Ted really empowered me. I won't even lie. If there's one thing I learned from him, it's never to compromise on quality. There's this notion, if you know your worth and your status in the industry, never compromise never settle for less. You know what I mean? He told me to always strive to be a perfectionist, never settle for less. And then also that thing of being a trendsetter, man. Guys are going like this, you go this way, man. That's because cool. If everybody follows the same trend, you'll die with the fashion. But if you stand out, you know what I mean? There's many times I wanted to release music, and I'm Ted, we need to drop this now. He's like, no, dude, what are you rushing for? I'm like, I need music out. Like, no. Listen to that song. Is that how you want to come out? And that's when you start shuking yourself. I'm like, maybe not. You know what I mean?
And at this time, are you doing anything solo? Or
yes, at that time, I started working on my solo project. Especially now, because I got into production, I started producing my own songs. So a couple of things I put in the archive. So I remember at some point, Nas and Bamzigi came back for holidays. And we started, at around that time, I remember Coca-Cola was sponsoring a couple of projects.
The SEMA one.
I can't remember the name of the project, but I remember first project they sponsored was DJ's album, and then I think they were still offered to sponsor like one more project, and that's when Ted was like, since you guys are around, why don't we try and work on Necessary Noise too? So we thought about it and like, hey, that's not a bad idea. Actually, let's start jamming. So we started working on the second album as me, Bamzigi, and Noize, all three of us. And we started working on the project. But like halfway through the project, I think Bamzigi was under pressure to go back and clear his studies. And his folks told him, yo, you need to clear this. So he came to the studio and told us, yo, guys, I don't want to be the one to stall the project again. Because remember last time, the first album came, we all bounced. So this time I don't want to be the one to stall it, so how do we do this? So that's when we discussed and we decided, okay, you know what? I guess me and Noize will continue with the project. He had already actually started recording a couple of songs with us at that point. So we had a long discussion and with Ted and Bamzigi and Noize, and so we saw it fit that, okay, I mean, he left with our blessings. There was no bad blood. I think there was a lot of miscommunication with the media that time.
I know,
and assumptions. Guys thought there was beef.
Even I thought there was beef.
A lot of guys thought there was issues, but there was no issue. There was no hard feelings. Everybody was quite mature about it, and he was like, yo, guys, I don't want to be the one to be the cause of stalling this project again for you guys. So, I mean, we had his blessings, so we continued with it. In fact, one of the songs on the second album still has Bamzigi. The one featuring Atemi as well.
Yeah, and Dij.
Yes, and Dij.
Yeah.
Vidonge vyao watasema watachoka ni sharia wape vidonge vyao watasema watachoka ni sharia
You're the air that I breathe, sitaki wewe uli. Nataka tuwe in sync, tuwe on the same speed. Nakupenda mpenzi na kutamani na kufikiria kila sana, kila pahali. Nataka tuwe pamoja tujenge mali. Tuwe na vitu poa kama nyumba kwa bahari. Usiwe na kila Tom, Dick na Harry. Kuwa na mi, wananiita Superman, niite Bamzigi.
Yes. Just out of the blue, at this time is Dij part of Blue Zebra?
Dij, that's not a long story.
Okay, we'll come to Dij. We'll come to Dij. Let's first go with this Necessary Noise too.
Yeah. So
Wyre is an archive. That's why we put the camera in front of him.
So we worked on the album for a couple of months, and funny enough, the last song we recorded, which actually just came up about like just a last minute thought, was Kenyan Boy, Kenyan Girl.
Hii track inaenda kwa wavi wote wa ma3, dere wa ma3, konda wa ma3, pia kama unapanda ma3, Necessary Noise. Boy, that Kenyan boy make me heart skip a bit like boy. The way he move on the dance floor, boy. He a original Kenyan boy. Yo, Wyre, the love child, Nazizi, the first lady, we make it hot. You know, we make it hot.
Kenyan girl, won't you come take a walk with me?
Namtaka Charlie wa Nairobi. Kenyan boy, won't you come take a walk with me?
Oh, tunataka maji wa Nairobi. Kenyan girl, won't you come take a walk with me?
Namtaka Charlie wa Nairobi. Kenyan boy, won't you come take a walk with me?
Oh, tunataka maji wa Nairobi.
Yeah, that song was not going to be on the album.
The biggest song of the...
Yes, it was not going to be on the album.
How did it come across? Like what brought the idea? Do you remember?
Ted started jamming on the beat, and I think the idea of the hook was, I think Noize is amazing with melodies. That's one thing I have to...
With melodies?
Melodies.
Oh, that's cool.
Noize is amazing with melodies. She just starts humming something and that works, you know what I mean? So I think she's the one who came up with the melody of the hook. And Kenyan Boy was on a different beat. We had started recording something. Then Ted was like, we need to change up this thing. Let's see what we could do. So he gave I'll never forget that bass line. That bass line. You know, Ted gets on a keyboard, he just turns into a beast. I'm like, yo, that sounds wicked, man. It was crazy, man. We started jamming to it. We recorded the hook. Shortly after the hook, we recorded the verses. Quickly, I think in a span of like maybe 2-3 hours, we were done with Kenyan Boy.
That's crazy.
And that ended up being the first single.
And then the shout outs to different hoods.
Yeah, now that was it.
Roots.
It was crazy. And I remember when we were doing the shout outs. Also now Dej was helping out with the roots. Telling us, mention this route, mention that route, you know. Yeah, that was an amazing session, man. This is a Blue Zebra now.
And that became, that was necessarily Noize's first video?
Yes.
Okay.
Now, how Ted started doing videos. What do I tell you, Ted, man.
You guys is funny.
If it's a definition of a go-getter, it's Ted Josiah, man. I watched Ted pick up a camera. Jokingly, Ted had a loose camera. And he had a software on Nini that he had never used. So he just started shooting things around at the house. I don't know, find somebody tells you, it's my mother, shoot Nini. He comes back, starts playing softwares. It was ridiculous. So shortly after that, he's like, guys, I'd really like to try and see. I remember him investing in a camera. I think that time the hottest camera was DVX something else over the tape. Okay, so he got the camera and he decided to shoot the video for Kenyan Boy.
He's the one who shot that video?
Ted is the one who shot, directed and edited.
That's insane.
Pop some of that tuongee mambo flani.
Kenyan girl, won't you come take a walk with me?
Nataka chali wa Nairobi. Kenyan boy, won't you come take a walk with me?
Oh, achunga taka maji wa Nairobi. Kenyan girl, won't you come take a walk with me?
Nataka chali wa Nairobi. Kenyan boy, won't you come take a walk with me?
Oh, achunga taka maji wa Nairobi. Like the way she want to hide among her friends, yeah. Beautiful little makeup on her face, yeah. Little shy but she brave when she tipsy. On the floor on her waist like she gypsy. Gucci dress kinda high above her knees. Slim figure like a model from Venice. She be manicured, you know that be has tease. Kinda smile that I believe you. Not a man want to step up, you know them all afraid to walk up and feature her. Them want to know her name. See all a man, them want to get her and buy her what she drink. To all of them, she like a threat, you know she be me Kenyan girl. Kenyan girl, won't you come take a walk with me?
Nataka chali wa Nairobi. Kenyan boy, won't you come take a walk with me?
Oh, achunga taka maji wa Nairobi.
Yeah, that's how much of a go-getter he was.
And at this time now, TV's, where's the industry? This is 2004? 2003?
2003.
2003.
2002, 2003, yeah. There was not too many TV stations out there. There was I think KBC, KTN, and TV.
TV, yeah.
That time it was Nation TV. Nation TV. The Days of Shikamo and all those programs. Yeah. So yeah, that's how one day we said, okay, get your Nini outfits, get Nini. We started getting just stuff together. I think the first day of the shoot we went to town, in the heart of town. I don't even think we had a license to shoot. Went to town. Went to Sunbeam. If you remember Sunbeam. Yes. Went to Sunbeam, did some. If you look at that video right now, you'll see some shots of me in the market, walking inside the day. Went to Sunbeam. I remember standing across Sunbeam in the middle of the road where the island is, and Ted is across with his camera, and I'm singing. I'm just singing. Matriz are passing. It was crazy. I remember us going to Buruburu to shoot a scene where Nas just chilling and the Matriz passing, the 2 3s. Then I remember us hiring a Matri, which came now to Blue Zebra, and we shot the scene of us partying inside the matatu. And the scene of Nas talking to the guy, vibing the guy in the mat, and us having the full hang, man. It was crazy. That was amazing, man. We were so experimental, and we were hungry for it, man. Honestly, we were hungry for it, man. Yeah, man, I think like maybe a week or two after the video was ready, and we released the video. First time he played was on, yes. Remember?
It's VP.
Yes, VP. I remember I got calls. Wow, I got calls. It was ridiculous, man.
Just tell guys about It's VP, because guys may not understand that was actually an audio, Blue Zebra production.
It's VP. Like I said, Ted just picked up a camera and started shooting these two guys, Mongolo and Dij. Because they used to be the funniest characters, man, in the studio. Those two. And it's amazing what Ted used to see that at times you never used to see in yourself. You know what I mean? Because how did you just come up with that, man? You guys sit down and it ended up being one of the biggest shows on entertainment shows on the weekends.
It was huge. It was huge. It is Saturday nights, eh?
Yes, Saturday nights. And that's the show that debuted the Kenyan boy.
Well, but that was sharp because he's producing the music, he's shooting the videos, and then he's launching them on his own platform.
Yeah, man. So it
exclusive.
It was amazing. It was amazing. Dij. First time I met Dij, I guess I was still a producer at Blue Zebra, and he came in with his manager, and he was a rapper. In fact, before that, I'd met Dij at one of the showdowns organized by True Black. He was backstage wearing a hat, like a cowboy hat or something, and he was spitting bars. Dij had fire, man. He was a sick rapper.
Dij, Mr. R&B is a rapper.
Mr. Neo Soul Dij, sickest rapper you could never come across.
That's a big song he did.
And he was freestyling for Jerry Doobies and Bamboo. Rapping like, yo, Jerry, this is for you. Yo, Bamboo, I got a bars for you. I got more bars for you. It was ridiculous.
You know how we man rap sorry. Nigga spit, I'm sorry. Nigga say something like what? Like a freestyle. Like a freestyle. Off the top, go. Play it out, get your nigga. Messing me up, man. I'm messing you up, man. I'm messing him up, man. Hey, I'm messing him up. I know about Saturday and English.
What?
He was hungry for it. So when he came to do his demo, I was there, and he got into the studio and he started rapping. He had bars for days, man. Bars for days. And at some point, when he was doing the demo, he sang, he did like a small ad-lib. Then Ted was like, just do that again.
What?
So he started singing. So he's like, sing for me something longer. And he started singing, and he started doing falsetto things that the normal average singer does not do. You know what I mean? So he was like, okay, come over, talk back, come over. He came around. Ted told him, I don't want you to rap again. You're a singer now. I think that time Dij was like, what did you just say?
What?
That's how Dij, the new soul singer.
The girl of Sazingine.
Imagine. That's how, because of what Ted said.
Sazingine, kuko sana ndio mwanzo wa kuelewana. Sazingine, sauti yako tu ndio
mwenzio yanitoa machungu, sio saa zote nakupa msamaha. Tukiwa chini tuwe juu, saa zingine naropokwa maneno yanitoka juu ya penzi lako, saa zingine wanichosha nataka uondoke nenda zako, saa zingine ninazama na uzito wa pendo lako, saa zingine naropokwa maneno yanitoka juu ya penzi lako, saa zingine wanichosha nataka uondoke nenda zako, saa zingine ninazama na uzito wa pendo lako, saa zingine saa zingine
That is impressive.
It was, wow, I don't know.
But the ability for Ted to be able to see that.
Yeah. Somebody else would just recorded him as a
rapper.
As a rapper, you know what I mean? He is a good rapper, yes, but that singing made him really stand out.
Okay, talking about singing and standing out, let's now sort of move into Wyre, the solo artist.
Okay.
So take us to the transition. Okay, unless there's...
Okay. So the Kenyan Boy album, that's one album I have no regrets for ever working on.
Oh, thing was...
Because that man, I think it put both me and Nas in a place that...
Dude, let me shock you. Let me tell you something. I bought the album. I mean, I came down... At that time, I had a website called Kenyan Madness. I came and I bought 50 copies. And I put them online and I said, this music is good. These albums are going to be available and I'll distribute them to people in South Africa. By the time I was flying from Kenya and landing in Cape Town, all CDs had sold.
Nice.
All CDs. And that time
Kenyan Madness, that was you.
Again, I used to distribute music, not pirate.
The grind, man. Nice. No, yeah, I remember.
No, but that's the demand. Well, the reason I'm telling you this is to show that the demand that there was for Kenyan music, especially with the Kenyan diaspora.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was amazing, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one album that put both me and Nas in a good place as house. It made us household names. Let me just say that. There's nowhere we didn't travel. We toured the US, the UK. We went to.
And this is the first time you're touring those places.
Yeah, man.
How did it feel to get out of this country and go to another country, and what was the response like with the Kenyan diaspora, but also with the foreigners?
It was huge. It was ridiculous because I think Kenyan music was on fire at that point. Because by the time NN2 was taking off, Ogopa had really picked, Caliph had come out as well. So there was this vibe of Kenyan music everywhere, man.
And there was also this thing called the internet.
Guys, I just discovered internet, man. It was crazy. It was ridiculous, and a lot of guys in diaspora had just left when the music had really taken off. So there was a lot of demand, man, and it was serious, man. I pondered my first flight because of music, and I think that was during NN1. Mziki linipandisha ndege.
Whoa! You're paying your rent from this thing.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you.
So you would be abroad, and what would be the responses? I mean, what would be the response?
It was amazing, man.
Guys
We
know
were
the
selling
songs.
out. In fact, now because we were not selling the music digitally yet,
Yes.
we had to go with with stock, with CDs, and it was ridiculous. At times we had to send the stock before, and we're selling merchandise. It was crazy. At times you find you were not even touching your performance fee. You're just selling off merchandise. That's what you're using to shop on that side, man. So it was interesting. We traveled, man. There's no way we didn't travel with Nas, man.
Just give me examples of places you've gone.
We did like
You know the way you did the shout out for the Masris.
oh,
Do the shout out for the countries now.
we did SA, we did Dubai, we did Ethiopia, we did Burundi. Rwanda. We did the UK, the US. Did what else?
Because of that album.
We went all over Kenya. It was ridiculous, man. It was ridiculous. We won so many awards, man. I remember at some point, SEMA night. I think SEMA we won like 3 awards. Chagua, I remember we had like 5 awards. We were holding them like this. It was ridiculous. And then we finished performing in at the awards. Straight, the van is waiting to take us to Nakuru to perform. It was crazy, man. It was
good days, huh?
Oh yeah. So a couple of years later is when I started working on. Remember, I'd started working on my solo project when Kenyan R&B had left.
Yeah.
So I decided to revive it. And the first single I worked on, I remember calling Nas into the studio to come and listen to a song I'd been working on. And so that's when she came to the studio and I played for her Chuki.